Hey, what's up? It's Primetime Football, and today we're going to talk about Georgia versus Florida, the SEC East Championship. So first, I'm just going to talk about what the teams have done so far this year. Georgia, they've had close game with Arkansas. Uh, they beat Tennessee, Auburn. They lost to Alabama. That's their one loss. Overall, their offense hasn't looked good. Defense is definitely one of the best in the country. Florida is the opposite. Elite offense, not so good defense. They have their one loss coming to Texas A&M. So, what have you learned from these teams so far this season?
I've definitely learned that if Florida's defense can play a good game, chances are they will come out of the game with a victory. And same goes for Georgia's offense. If Georgia can put up more than 28 points on the board, chances are they're going to win the game.
Okay, yeah, I definitely agree with that. Let's talk about some key matchups for both teams. So a lot of people now, I'm not going to try to tell you that Georgia has an elite offense because they don't. It's not even good. But I feel like people stretch it a little bit. So there, I have a statistic right here. Basically, it brings up the percentage of. So here's an example. I'll say Georgia scoring 30 points per game, and the percentage of that compared to what their opponents are giving up. So if Georgia was scoring 30 points per game and their opponents on average are allowing 30 points per game, the percentage would be 100%. So for Georgia's offense, they're scoring 30 points per game, which is 126% of what their opponents are allowing. So overall, they're playing good defenses and doing pretty well against them. For comparison, Florida is scoring 42 points per game, which is 135%. I think we all know Florida has a better offense, but I think that shows that Georgia's offense is not quite as bad as it's made
Yeah.
out to be by a lot of people. And the same can be said for Florida's defense, especially the run defense, which I think is going to be the factor because I think me and you both agree that Stetson Bennett's not going to go out there and put up 400 yards and win the game. Florida's rushing defense is allowing 71% of what their opponents average. That's very good. And so that matchup, their rushing defense versus Georgia's offensive line and running backs is going to be huge. So, what are your key matchups?
Definitely Kyle Pitts for Florida and just the Georgia secondary in general, including Richard LeCount. I really want to see how well Trask and Pitts and the rest of the Florida offense is able to maneuver and move the ball on Florida. And I also really like the matchup of Zamir White and the Georgia O line because that's Georgia's bread and butter, running the football and winning football games. And that's how I think they're going to do it with Zamir White, James Cook, and Kendall Milton on some plays.
Mm-hmm. And one more thing I want to say uh, about Florida's offense, people and Georgia's defense too. So after that Alabama game, Alabama put up 41 points against Georgia. They really had a lot of success, and I think the main reason for that is they were able to run the ball. They weren't Here's what Georgia's recipe for success is on defense in almost every game. They have maybe the best rush defense in the country, so they'll shut you down running the ball and make you pass the ball almost every play. And it works, except for against Alabama, it didn't work. Najee Harris had about 150 yards, and that opened up the passing game for Alabama, and we know how deadly they are. The difference between people are saying, "Oh, Alabama had success against Georgia, so Florida's going to do the same." Florida doesn't have a rushing game anywhere near what Alabama has. Alabama has the best offensive line and running back in college football. Florida maybe average or maybe a little bit above average in that area. But I just wanted to say that. So now, go ahead and give me your prediction and just overall what you think is going to happen in the game.
Okay. So I see Georgia coming out of this with a win just because of how good Georgia's rush defense is and how mediocre Florida's rush offense is, with their leading rusher only having 170 yards on the ground this year. compared to Georgia's 400, and they have two more backs with over 100 as well. I also see Stetson Bennett playing pretty well. Maybe one interception, but I do see him throwing a couple touchdowns this game. And I see Georgia coming out of this 35-28.
Okay. I have a pretty similar prediction. I'm gonna go Georgia 31, Florida 24. One thing I want to talk about with Stetson Bennett, he's not the quarterback that's gonna, like I said earlier, he's not like Mac Jones or even Kyle Trask or Justin Fields or Trevor Lawrence. He's not gonna go out there and win you a football game. And I feel like it was the same way with Jake Fromm. He's a game manager. He can make sure you don't lose the game, but he's not going to win you the game.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think Stetson Bennett he's shown that he can be efficient at times this season. Overall, he hasn't looked great. But when you look at the Alabama game in the first half, they scored 24 points. He was actually very efficient in that first half. I think their offense was looking really good. I mean, we know what happened in the second half, but that first half showed what they can do. And I believe Alabama has a much better defense than Florida. And we'll see if he can continue that success. But anyways, the reason I have Georgia is I just think they're going to win the line of scrimmage. That's why they won last year. And I feel like nothing's really changed except for Georgia's got a better pass rush this year. I feel like they're going to shut down Florida's run game, like you said. They're going to make Kyle Trask have to pass the ball a whole lot. And I don't think he can do that for 4 quarters, consistently moving the ball down the field.
Mm-hmm.
I also think on the other side, Georgia's going to be able to have some success running the ball. They got 3 or 4 running backs that can really cook people on Florida. So I'm going to go Georgia 31, Florida 24. And that's going to do it for the video. So don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on the post notifications bell. Thank you.